Elsa. Today we will be presenting our storyboard novel, which is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. My name is Shakira binti Sudirman, and these my group members: Anisyatul binti Abdullah, Patinus Bella binti Adsan, Karnita binti Bahar, Nabila binti Samsudin, Meronisa binti Abdusatar, and is myself Shakira binti Sudirman.
Hello everyone, I am Anisyatul. From the reading passage, I got some of the summaries in this novel. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a mystery novel on 21 September 1962 by American author Shirley Jackson. It was Jackson's last work and was published with a dedication to Pascal Covici, the publisher, 3 years before the author died in 1965. The novel is written in the voice of 18-year-old Mary Catherine Mercat Blackwood, who lived with her agrophobic sister and uncle, who is sick on an estate. 6 years before the event of the novel, the Blackwoods family suffered a tragedy that left the 3 survivors isolated from their small village. The novel was first published in hardcover in North America by Viking Press and has since been released in paperback and has an audiobook and ebook. This We Have Always in the Castle novel is the first edition. Also, this novel contains 214 pages that cost $12.75. Character 1. Mercat Blackwood is the main character and narrator of the book We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. She is a complex and intelligent character with several distinctive characteristics. 1. Eccentricity. Mercat is portrayed as eccentric and peculiar. She has a unique habit and ritual that she follows religiously, such as burying items around the Blackwood estate as a form of protection. 2. Protective nature. Mercat is fiercely protective of her family, especially her older sister Constance. She goes to great lengths to shield them from the outside world and any potential harm or instruction. 3. Superstition. Mercat is highly superstitious and believes in magic and ritual. She believes that her ritual and the magical properties of certain objects can keep her family safe from harm. 4. Isolation. Mercat prefers isolation and seclusion from the rest of the world. She has put a wall around her family property to keep outside away and maintains a distance from the townspeople. 5. Courtly behavior. Mercat engages in peculiar behavior such as talking herself, practicing her own version of magic, and having a strong aversion to chance. She finds comfort in her routines and resists any disruption to her carefully constructed world. These characteristics combine to create a compelling and complex character in We Have Always Lived in the Castle, making Mercat an intriguing protagonist with a unique perspective on the world.
Character number 2 is the Constance Blackwood. Constance Blackwood is a central character in the novel We Have Always Lived in the Castle, written by Shirley Jackson. Constance is a Mercat's 20-year-old sister who has 22 at the time of the murder. She possesses several distinctive characteristics that shape her role in the story. Number 1 is elusive nature, and number 2, protective of the family, and number 3, sense of the responsibility, and number 4 is ambiguity and complexity. Reclusive nature. She prefers to remain within the confines of his house, avoiding social interaction in the outside world. This circulation stem from a tragic event that incorporates year brought leading to the isolation of the Blackwood family. Number 2 is a protective of family. Constance is a mostly protective of her remaining family member, particularly her young sister Mary Kate and her ailing uncle Julian. She dedicates herself to their care and will be taking off the responsibility of the shielding them from the outside world. Character number 3, Julian Blackwood. In the book We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, Julian Blackwood is a minor character who plays an important role in the story. Although his do not appear in person, his perceived in action has a significant impact on the plot. There are some characteristics associated with Julian Blackwood: serious and wealthy. Julian Blackwood is an affluent gentleman who lived in the near village. He is considered an outsider by the town people due to his wealth and insecurity. His reputation is shrouded in mystery which adds to the intrigue surrounding him. Character number 4, Charles Blackwood. In the book We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, Charles Blackwood is the one of the center character. He is a cousin of the main protagonist, Mary Kate Blackwood, and he unveils disrupt the isolated and blacklight life of the Blackwood family. There are some characteristics of the Charles Blackwood: impulsive and manipulative. Charles is portrayed as an impulsive and manipulative character. He arrived at the Blackwood house with the intention of taking control of the family wealth and property. He tried to establish dominance over Mary Kate and his sister Constance, inviting to exert his influence over them. Number 2, greed and materialistic. Charles' primary motivation is greed. He is interested in the family fortune and is willing to go to great lengths to gain control over him.
In this part, I will tell some plot summary about the novel We Have Always Lived in the Castle. What does this novel tell about, and how are the prefixes and endings of the story? The first of all, Shirley Jackson's books We Have Always Lived in the Castles chronicle the Blackwood family's life in a sizable home on the outskirts of a tiny town. Constance and Mary Kate, two sisters, and their uncle Julian make up the family. 6 years before the story begins, the remainder of the family purportedly perished after having their sugar bowl contaminated with arsenic. The story continues with the situation that happened in this family after the dark story that happened. What is the perception of the surrounding people towards this family? Has the killer been found? Constance was tried for the killings but found not guilty, and the remaining family members have since isolated themselves and come to the beach despite by the locals. Only Mary Kate comes into town to buy groceries, and she is greeted with distrust and contempt. This summary continues to develop where the killer of this family has been identified. Who is the killer? Is he a part of this family or not? The narrative focuses on the sisters' typical daily activities, on their relationship with the few outsiders who enter their life, such as a visiting cousin and a new neighbor who move in close by. It becomes more and more obvious as the plot develops that Mary Kate is the one who poisoned her family and that Constance is merely trying to keep herself.
When the killer is identified, the story of the novel We Have Always Lived in the Castle ends with a rather sad ending. The sisters are compelled to defend themselves from a crowd as the villagers become more hostile, heightening the tension in the narrative. In the end, the sisters depart to begin a new life with each other after destroying their home. Overall, the novel explores themes of isolation, mental illness, and desire for control over one's life.
We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson is a novel that explores various moral values. We can learn some moral values from this novel, which is royalty, identity and acceptance, innocence and guilt, prejudice and judgment, lastly is family and responsibility. Overall, We Have Always Lived in the Castle raises important moral questions and offers insights into royalty, identity, innocence, guilt, prejudice, and family dynamic. The novel prompts readers to reflect on these themes and consider their own moral values in relation to the choices made by the characters.
Hello, my name is Karnita Binti Bahar. Next, I will talk about the book review.
Shirley Jackson, renowned for enthralling readers with her unnerving storytelling, wrote the atmospheric and frightening book We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This gothic masterwork explores loneliness, familial relationships, and the potential darkness in human nature. Mary Catherine, who called Mary Cat Blackwood, an odd and mysterious young woman who resides in an old family estate with her elderly uncle Julian and older sister Constance, tells the tale.
Following a sad incident years ago, the community shunned the remaining Blackwood family members, forcing them to live a lonely and segregated life.
The beautiful and frightening prose of Shirley Jackson immediately immerses the reader in the ominous atmosphere of the Blackwood home. We learn about Mary Cat's odd customs, ingrained phobias, and undying devotion to her sister from her point of view. Jackson skillfully creates a sense of mystery around them by progressively unveiling the secrets and evil powers that stalk the Blackwood family. Next, each character in We Have Always Lived in the Castle is intricately detailed, with unique habits and underlying motives. Mary Cat's unreliable narrator makes the novel more intriguing and makes the reader constantly doubt her views and the accuracy of the family's past. The older sister, Constance, is a complicated character who struggles to reconcile her unwavering love for Mary Cat with her wish for a regular assistance. Uncle Julian's obsessive recounting of the specifics of the family tragedy adds to the unease as he struggles with his fading recollections. The book explores societal prejudice and the fear of the unknown through its pages. The nature of evil, the effects of solitude, and the extent people would go to defend those they love are all brought up. An unpleasant fusion of psychological suspense and gothic elements is brilliantly crafted by Jackson, showcasing her writing talent and providing readers with a unique reading experience.
Lastly, the memory of the novel We Have Always Lived in the Castle lingers long after it has been finished.
This book is a classic because Shirley Jackson can convey discomfort while delving into complicated issues. Whether you enjoy psychological thrillers or a well-written novel, this book will create an impression that will last a lifetime. That's all from our group and thank you for listening.